Setting up, done. Okay, let me go here. Yes, go live there. Okay, so I believe we are live, ladies and gentlemen, and we
Yes.
should technically be live on um, Rumble, Facebook,
Mm,
Instagram, YouTube, uh,
mm.
and I think that's it, right? Did I mention four?
Yeah, you said four to me earlier. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's hope we're there. If not, I do apologize, but we are going live somewhere. I
We're
do
trying.
exactly. Let the audience know we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up for you guys. If you are fans of the show Friends, fans of the show Breaking Bad, fans of Home Alone, next week, I believe is December 5th, we do have the one and only Larry Hankin coming on to chat with us. So that's pretty exciting.
But old Larry, you'll
Yeah,
recognize his face when you see him for sure.
exactly.
He's one of those. He's one of those character actors that people don't know their names, but they recognize their face immediately.
100%.
Absolutely.
He's got a book out called That Guy, I think, because oh yeah,
Perfect.
that guy. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he'll come on, tell us all about that. I believe he quit Hollywood. He was sick of all the bullshit and all that good stuff. So he's got to
I don't
come.
blame him there.
Yeah. I spoke to him a while ago. He was talking trash on the Friends cast, which was kind of cool.
Oh
Uh
shit.
yeah.
Is
He
that
was
before Matthew Perry passed or
yeah.
after?
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point. I would like to actually talk to him about that. Um Yeah, because that's crazy. So I know we're live on Instagram. I'm hoping the rest are there as well. If not, I don't know. We'll post a video later, but I think we're good.
Oh shit. Man.
Yeah.
There's some
If,
people. You have live interaction. People can write in from those various platforms.
yeah, well, I do see that we're at least live on Facebook, live on Instagram. So the YouTube and Rumble, I think we are. I will double check when we are done, but I think we're golden, dude.
Prestige Worldwide.
Prestige Worldwide. What is this?
Boats and Hoes.
Boats and hose.
Step Brothers. Come on, man.
Oh,
No.
okay. I was like, boats and hose, when are we going? Yeah, know?
They sing the song, dude. Boats and Hoes.
Oh my God, dude, my memory is shot. Like I go to rewatch things that I liked as a kid, and I'm like, this kind of sucks. So like I don't remember it properly.
Oh, you will not be disappointed in rewatching Step Brothers. Come on.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I think I've seen Dumb and Dumber, probably with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, probably over 100 times. That movie is
Oh,
classic.
that's fucking great. Yeah, absolutely. So great.
I used to be able to like quote it as it was going on. I could say every line. Uh,
Yeah.
let the audience know. So our young Bobby will be with us shortly. He's at the doctor's getting his balls chopped off. He's becoming young Roberta. Uh,
Oh shit.
yeah, and then we also have a fun show with Ken. I believe you say Staiduhar, but I'm not 100% on that. He's a fan of live. He's been a fan since the Throwing Copper days. Been to a bunch of shows. So that'll be fun to catch up with him, talk to him.
Yeah, we got this guy Dylan down in South Africa that wants to come on because we mentioned South Africa and he
Yeah,
wants to tell us about it. So we gotta get him booked on here.
dude, I
But
like.
he has firsthand experience of what's going on down there that we don't hear about over here.
Absolutely. That'd be good to get some firsthand knowledge on that. But so I looked into it a little bit after you mentioned it. Yeah, not looking too cool over there, man. It seems like people are taking lands back from farmers and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
they're giving it to people who don't know how to farm. So like the
Yep.
yeah, the immediate doesn't look horrible, but the further you go starts to look really crazy.
Yeah, the same thing happened in another African country, and I can't remember the name right now. Tanzania or something like that. Maybe not Tanzania. Anyway, so they gave they gave the farmland from the white farmers to the black farmers, indigenous, whatever,
Yeah.
and they didn't know how to farm, so they had a freaking famine.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, it's it's where equity becomes dangerous to populations.
Very good point. I guess I'm just naive to the world, but I was watching this Zac Efron like kind of documentary on Netflix. The first season he went to like a bunch of different countries and stuff like that. And then I think the second season he was stuck in Australia when 9/11 had first 9/11 when COVID had first hit. And
Oh,
he fell in love with Australia, but I didn't realize that Australia was basically had indigenous, I guess everywhere has, like we did to the Native Americans, the
oh yeah,
Europe,
the Aboriginals. Yes, yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
the Europeans did to their Aboriginals, which is, I wonder why you don't hear that. Like you always hear how horrible it was for the Native Americans, but you don't really hear, and Australia wasn't founded like that. They didn't do this like that much before America or anything
Mhm.
like that. Like it shouldn't be lost to history. But I guess I don't know if they don't teach it or something, or I'm just stupid. I'm not sure. But I kind
Oh,
of
they cover pretty well there. I mean, you know about it when you're there.
yeah.
Um, but they have, I mean, they seem to have great respect for the Aboriginal people now there. But
Now,
yeah, you just, I mean, it's just not something they teach here in America.
yeah, I guess so because they were like, well, I figured they would because it's not that they like my story would be if I was America. Well, look, yeah, we did do this shitty thing, but so did everybody else. Like I would kind of
Right.
that in there.
It's the conquerors and the conquered. It's what happens,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But
yeah,
that's how history works.
right. And then after time, like almost with this is touchy, so I'm gonna kind of walk slowly, but almost like Israel, where the Israelites once were in biblical times, and then cast out of their land, Palestine was formed, and then they came back, which maybe that's the first time you hear of that, like the indigenous people coming back. And I guess that's not working out too well. As we can see, there is some peace and truce talks as we see going on right now, which
Yeah, I mean, it's the typical it's turning in almost turning into the typical cycle over there where they do peace and truce talks and then
right,
Hamas regroups, rebuilds, and then attacks again. And it's like, it's
never ending.
never ending.
Well, they're saying even with this peace and truce, so they could exchange hostages and whatnot, that the area itself is just going crazy. Like all the humanitarian trucks coming in are getting bombarded by people trying to like get to them before they get to where they're going, and it's just
Sure.
chaos over there.
Well, ultimately happens with those humanitarian trucks is that they get confiscated by Hamas fighters and then they start taking the shit that they want and giving out what's left over to the people.
Right,
That's what happens
right.
generally.
And I mean, again, of course, I'm not pro anybody getting attacked first or anything. I'm just laying out facts and stuff that I've heard because I think
Hmm.
it's horrible for Hamas and some Palestinians to attack Israel. But just the history that I'm hearing is in, I guess, 1948. England had kind of said that they should have, I believe, 47% of Israel or 48% of Israel, something like that. Uh,
Hmm.
Israelites flew, started to go there and stuff. This was after World War II,
Yep.
because they were kind of warned before World War II, like the world hates you. You guys need to come back to your homeland. Some listened, most didn't. But then after World War II, they started to flock. And then it went up to, I think they took 80% by 1967. And then
Right.
not too long after that is when they took 100%. So supposedly, Hamas and Palestine want to go back to the 1967 borders. They don't want the whole thing. They want just like the 1967 borders, which was 80% is Israeli and then the 20% Palestine.
I think that the PLO was into that at some point, but it seems like Hamas is their dictate is just destroy Israel and kill all Israelites,
Yeah.
Israelis, I should say. So
Yeah.
I wish that would be great if they could figure out some kind of solution, but I think Hamas is they're for the death of all
Well,
Israelis.
it shows what the Israeli government is doing is effective. I mean, they pretty much shut that place down in weeks to where, I mean, they flattened it with bombs. They sent in their troops and stuff. And if they didn't take their foot off of their neck, uh, the I guess the whole thing could end relatively quicker, but there's a lot of innocent people there that didn't take
Oh
the
yeah.
couple-day warning to bounce, which if you live in
Well,
your
plus I mean, in the defense of those people, like they didn't have really anywhere to go. Like there's the border with Israel, which is 90% of the border with in Gaza.
right,
Then there's like 10% is border with Egypt, and Egypt doesn't like the Palestinians either, so they won't let them out or let them
right.
into Egypt. So that's kind of a no-win for those people over there, which is definitely sad for the innocent people. That's fucking
Right.
sad.
100%. And they're saying like, well, Israel and Jewish people and Muslims have been fighting forever. They're never going to get along. But Israel gets along with Saudi Arabia. There's Muslim people there.
Yeah,
Israel
Jordan,
wrong with along with Jordan, Egypt.
Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up,
So
Rob? Bobby?
Bobby,
How you guys doing? How you doing?
Good, good.
Got good information from the doctor.
yes, good, good, good. We'll talk
You got
about
to keep your nuts.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. But I'm taking them.
there you
Yes.
go.
I fought for
I love it. All right. I do want to play before our next guest comes on something that I was trying to do
them.
last week. Let me see if I could get to this. Go on a nice little light note here because, I'm all about doom and mother bleeping gloom. Uh, let's see if I can make miracles happen. Boom. Share sound. Okay. All right. Let me
Oh,
see
what
if
are we
I,
sharing?
yeah.
Oh, ha ha ha. Nice.
Haha.
Welcome back. I'm here with Mark Maron, and I just want to say this. I love this band. I love this next band, and they have two members.
How's that sound, guys?
It sounds okay. The video stopped.
Okay, I stopped it myself just to make sure everybody could listen here and all
Oh,
this.
okay. Yeah, it sounded fine.
John Stewart with the
Yeah.
only live.
Chad, which makes me love them even more. Ladies
Shoot
and gentlemen,
Chad.
performing I Alone from the album Throwing Copper. Please welcome live.
All right, now the reason why I'm playing this, I just want the audience to fucking feel this magic with these four people on stage because it's fucking amazing.
It's the magic, baby.
Measure these things by your brains. Sank into it, done with you.
Is there supposed to be video? There's no video.
No, there's no video.
It's frozen on John Stewart there.
Shit. What about?
And the audio is kind of like
Wow.
going in and out, sort of.
Stop this. My God. It's like, come on, people.
Why can't it just be easy?
Okay, there. I'll try this one more time. Share. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to throw out Zoom completely and we'll just be using Restream. But let me know if y'all can see this. Does that show, Chad?
There's video. I can see Ed.
And now is it playing sound?
There's sound, but it's wacky.
Jesus.
Your anchor is up, you've been swept away.
I want to know why.
Still teaches.
Yeah, it's just frozen. It's strange.
You know why? Because I got to give all this stuff to our young Bobby before I go on my own here. Because it seems like every time he shares, it's good. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep pushing
I'll
that.
see you next week.
Yeah. I do
Well,
have
can he go find that on YouTube and play it?
probably. I just don't know where he's at in his journeys because he was coming
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
look for that live I Alone John Stewart show.
Okay.
And in the meantime, let me see if I could play this. Yeah, Chad, did you see do you watch UFC at all or MMA?
Once in a while, yeah. I mean, sometimes.
And Ken, I see you on there. I'm gonna let you in 1 second, buddy. Did you hear about this Sean Strickland guy who some dude was trying something by his car and he came out and like fucking pulled a gun and then knocked him down and almost out, I think?
Oh no,
All right, let me
did
see
not
if
hear
I
about this.
share this little video. Bong, bong,
Sean
bong.
Strickland pulled the gun, or the
Yeah.
guy?
No, it's Sean
Really?
did. Yeah, this is
Oh,
cool. Check this out.
I think
Warning,
he can.
you
He can.
contain
I think Sean can assault him with his hands. That's a deadly weapon.
absolutely good. Um, there we go.
Oh, going with the
Not really
doorbell
sound.
camera.
Yeah. So this guy, you see him sneaking around the car. Now he gets in between the cars, right? Kind of
Yeah,
goes down.
it's
Oh,
frozen
here
for
comes
me
Sean.
again, dude.
Fuck, dude. Oh
I don't
my.
know if it's frozen for everybody, but it's frozen for me. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check on that, but it was just cool, dude. He comes Sean as soon as he sees it, he just comes running out. Um, that should work, Bobby. Um, we're gonna watch a performance of I Alone from 1997. Your Howard Stern show, baby.
There you go. First time we were on Howard.
Yes. I got no sound, Bobby. When you share, you got to click that share with sound button. So you might have to stop and then restart.
You hear it now?
I hear you, but not the show. When you share, you got to click that little share sound button before you actually share. So you click share screen and then it says, click sound. So you have to stop sharing and redo it, I think. I'll stop your share.
So
Okay,
youthful.
it's fine.
Yeah. Apologize out there, ladies and gentlemen. We're not having the we're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, we got it.
Here we go.
Start from
There
the
we go.
beginning.
Full screen me.
Really didn't know how to do anything.
Right.
So we learned how to do it together, and all the ideas come from all four of us, at any different time. So there's no rules. It's not like one megalomaniac.
Oh, what's
doing
up? There you go.
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Here we go. Here's live, everybody.
It's easy enough to be wise. Measure these things by your brains. I sank into Eden with you. Alone in the church by and by. I'll read to you here, save your eyes. You need him, your boat is at sea. Your anchor is up, you've been swept away. And the greatest of teachers won't hesitate to leave you there by yourself, chained to fate. Yeah, I alone love you, I alone tempt you, I alone love you. Fear is not the end of this.
Hey, Bobby, pause me there. We need a pause, Bobby. All right, here we go. Thank you. Yes, the reason why I do that,
Does it pause it?
yeah,
Yeah,
please.
it's paused now. Yeah.
I think if we go above 30
Nah,
seconds,
no.
flag our episode and shut it down for copyright material, even though we have one of the original members on the show. They don't know that. And
We
but
have the original
Yeah.
member of
One of the copyright holders. Yes, that's right. I
yes.
give permission to use it.
But Chad, did we hear what he said in the beginning? How diplomatic he was being about the songwriting process?
I mean, that's how it used to be. I mean,
Right.
we get in a room and someone would bring in an idea and we fucking flesh it out. I mean, obviously Ed always wrote the lyrics and melody. Always, always, always. There was never a any kind of thought about anyone else trying to claim that he did not write lyrics and melody.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I think his big issue with CT was that CT would say, I wrote Selling Drama, I wrote I Alone. He wouldn't say I wrote the guitar part that became that song,
Right.
That's
Which, I mean, I see his point of view, sort of, but you can't take sole writing credit for it. But that's a huge chunk of, let's just say the guitar part for Selling the Drama. I mean, that's a huge part of that song. I mean, it really defines and lets Ed go into what he's doing. So I see both sides of it. I would never see him take sole credit for writing music, but I could totally see him saying, yeah, I was a huge part of it, and I helped develop the song, maybe not the melody and lyrics, but those melodies.
And then it's, and then it's arguable, would it be the same song if I didn't play the drum part the way I played it, or made up, or Patrick didn't play his bass part? It's the magic of the four people is what made us great. 100%. And you even have Dave. I mean, listen to Nirvana pre-Dave Grohl,
right?
With Chad, I forget the guy's name, Chad something, but
Chad Channing.
Thank you. Yes, I mean he's a good drummer, but Dave Grohl comes along and it's like, holy fuck! It's like, there you go.
100%, dude. I mean that goes without saying. When people talk about the rhythm section of live, they always say how important you and Patrick were to the band. I mean, your drum beats are original. Your timing stuff is original. Same with Patrick. I mean, he's not playing the same old. That breakdown in I Alone, dude, on bass and drums is fucking ridiculous. Pardon my French, but I mean, it's absolutely insane. Before my boner gets any bigger, I'm going to admit, Ken, I believe it's Staiduhar, but I could be pronouncing that wrong. Ken, if you're out there, buddy, am I pronouncing your name right?
There he is.
Here I am. It's Staiduhar.
Staiduhar. There we go.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear how you pronounced it, so I didn't know if you got it right or not. But most people don't. So
he said Staiduhar. He was pretty close.
Staiduhar, yeah. Up in her.
Yep, in her. Yeah. That's my Jersey accent coming out there.
There you go.
What's up, Ken?
Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great, man. It's an honor to sit and talk with you a little bit. Thanks for the time.
Awesome, man. Well, it's great to have you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you lots of hard questions today.
Hard ones, all right. Oh boy.
It becomes easy when Ken's on. I love it. But Ken, before you get going, man, when did you become aware of live, and when did you become a fan?
Yeah, it was really all in the same. Really, 1994. Throwing Copper, Selling the Drama was the first song I remember hearing on the radio, and I was. Yeah, I was hooked immediately. And then to this day, I still remember the I Alone video and going, what in the world? And I was just hooked ever since. That, to me, one of the best albums ever made. Forget about 90s, forget about genre. Start to finish, that thing is just, there's not a weak song on it.
Correct.
Yeah, we did it. That was on purpose. Like, that's back when people were making records, and we wanted to make the best record we could. So,
and that was the thing that stuck out was, back then, the music business more than me, Chad, but a lot of times you'd spend whatever, $14, $15 on a CD because you heard one song on the radio, and that one song on the radio was the only song that was worth, anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's the music industry sort of kicked itself in the ass back then with doing that, because there were some artists making great albums, right? And there were most of the artists were making one good song and then the fluffy bullshit for the rest of it. And the record company were like, put it out, make the money.
Yeah. So yeah, John, that was it, man. I've been on board since then, through the good and the bad, and it's just a little surreal to be sitting here right now, and I can't thank you guys enough for that.
Pleasure.
You're very welcome.
Ours. Yeah. Now, because you mentioned Selling the Drama was, I guess, one of the first songs you heard.
Yeah.
You imagine that band could technically be Selling the Drama years later? Because here was my thought about the whole thing: is they were four friends from grade school. So my thought as a fan was, these guys will never break up. They know each other too well. They'll never have that regular band history. They're boys. But then in all reality, somebody said to me, well, like, who do you talk to from grade school and get along with still? And I was like, wow, that's a great point.
Yeah.
I happen to actually have, Bobby's one of them, but I happen to have a couple more. But I'm a rare breed, dude. Most people don't even remember their grade school partners, let alone get along with them and tour with them and be with them every night. So that made sense.
Well, I mean, yes, I mean, the bomb was pretty strong until around 2002 2, 3, somewhere in there, 4, and it started disintegrating. But that's because we were still dealing with each other as kids, not as men,
right?
And then the breakup came. That was ridiculous, and it's just it's a trip. When we came back together at 16, I told Chad Taylor, and I told Patrick, and I tried to tell management. I'm like, listen, we need to do therapy, band therapy right now, like some kind of monster. I don't care if we film it or don't film it, but like band therapy,
dude.
Nobody wanted to do it. I'm like, okay, good. This is gonna end up great.
Right. You saw the writing on the wall. I mean, yeah, if you guys go through that much trauma and then just get back together without really doing the healing process, I mean, I think you were 100% correct. And for people listening, I think this could still be something that happens down the road. I don't think this needs to be lost on the 2016 reunion.
We'll see. Who knows? I mean, what has to happen if we ever come back together is that band therapy. Absolutely 100%.
Yeah. And people
air all the grievances, get all the bullshit out on the table, fucking try to heal from it, whatever.
Be sorry for shit that was done. Be sorry for, there's a whole bunch of healing that needs to go on, but fingers crossed that happens. Because like I said, we were trying to play some video of the 4 of them from early days, and just the magic that happens on stage is crazy.
It's Fab Four-esque, in my opinion. That's one of the things I was thinking about last night, was how watching them on MTV Unplugged, to me, was probably what my parents felt like watching the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was just that powerful to me. And you guys were just so tight, musically so tight. It was just, I mean, second to none, really.
And 4 dudes.
I wish we could have put that out.
Pennsylvania.
Me too.
4 dudes from York, Pennsylvania. Like, I don't know where the Beatles were in England. Like, I don't think they're all from the same town. You know what I'm saying? To have that much talent in fucking York, Pennsylvania, dude, is crazy.
There's a few bands like that. U2 was all from the same place. And, they've done some great things.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's the key, right?
But yeah.
You all kind of have a similar idea of the world at that point, and you're young enough to not be swayed by the shit out there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's in. I was going to say something, but I just got a text message saying that I shouldn't blame the band problems on Bill Hines.
I got that too, and I was just going to bring that up. Everybody,
and I would never, because it's not him.
Everybody's such a Bill hater out there. I'm sure you've heard this, Ken, on all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I've got to meet the guy, break bread with him. He's a really cool dude. I could tell people straight off the bat, like, all right, you're a little bit of a dick, but like Bill doesn't seem to have that in him. If you fucking cross him, yes, he's going to come out 100%. But he's just a business guy. He's a cool dude. He's, somebody, even though he doesn't really drink, he's somebody I want to drink.
He doesn't drink at all. Never has. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, no drinking or drugging. So I was doing all that at his apartment in the studio.
Nice.
No, I'm joking. I was drinking though.
So let's get to Ken's questions. We've covered that. All this other stuff. What do you got, buddy?
One of the things that Chad, I noticed kind of through the life of the band was, starting out with Mental Jewelry, Throwing Copper, even Secret Samadhi, there were such loud and kind of sonic guitars, and the drums were so prevalent and such, not being a musician, it might be hard for me to describe, but the drums were right there. And they were almost moving the song forward by themselves. And then as you kind of moved into, Birds of Prey and Five and Black Mountain, the sound changed a lot. It became a lot more acoustic, a lot more, I would say, watered down. I don't want to offend you, Chad.
Not offending me.
It lost its edge, maybe. And that edge came back with The Gracious Few, my God. And then the album you guys did with Shin were mind-blowing again. So it was almost like you guys took it back to where things started from a sonic standpoint. And I was just wondering if maybe you could talk about that a little bit. Was that attributable to songwriting, or growing older, or
there was well, I mean, for us, it was, I mean, for me personally, it was just a songwriting thing. Those after Distance to Here, Ed decided he just wanted to stop writing with Chad Taylor, and so he would just bring his ideas without anyone else's, I don't know, say so in them to the sessions, and or even just to show up and play at when we're making the record. So it was mostly, it's just all Ed's ideas, and they're arranged and everything, and all we had to do was play along.
And
so
Chad, I think around
part of it, I think, but
I think around the time Ken's talking about is almost when you went behind the cage during the concerts.
Yeah, there was that too.
And that wasn't your idea.
It was, no, hell no. I fucking hated that shit. It felt like a damn monkey. It was, it was, I mean, at that point, I think Ed was kind of running the band, and that's the direction he kind of wanted to go. We were sort of aiming for like adult contemporary rock at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And so The Gracious Few was a direct assault against that.
Yeah.
And it was,
it was
basically the three of us, Patrick, Chad, and I, just able to fucking write songs the way we used to.
Yeah.
And so when Kevin was all in, Sean was all in as well. So we just rocked it out. And then Shin was the same thing. It was like it's funny because with the Turn, we basically went back and just like, okay, what are we doing on Throwing Copper? Like, so we kind of modeled some of the songs off of Throwing Copper.
Yeah, you could definitely hear it. You could hear it for sure.
And then Shin was his own thing, and he's a great singer, but he was, his issue was I don't think we did a whole show where he remembered all the lyrics, so that was a problem.
Yeah.
And like I said, great singer, great performer, great guy. Loved him as a person, still do. But and then it was time for Ed to come back. So this is just the way things went.
When Ed came back, was your expectation that this was going to be kind of snap back right to 2009 when you guys called it a hiatus, or were you hoping and thinking that there's maybe reason to think this could be what the band was back in during its
I was
inception?
very hopeful it was going to be what it was. I was hopeful we were going to get in a room and fucking play, rock out songs again.
Yeah.
And we never did that. And then that EP got made with
Out You,
Robin's Situation, fucking Chad, gave those songs to Robin, let him play on them. I never even heard those songs, never even got a chance to like play on them. And then he started telling management and internally in the band that I lost my edge and I couldn't play anymore, and like make up drum parts. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening to me? So, and then I had to go along with the lie that I played on that record. It was just like, this is so fucked up.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
Chad,
sorry, John.
No, it's all good, Ken. I just have a quick question. Like, did you guys ever? Because I feel like all the fan feedback was like, can't these guys get back to Throwing Copper and that hard stuff? Like, did you guys hear that in the band, or was that just the fans kind of outside saying it? Because it was said pretty loud. Like,
I heard that. I mean, I knew that. I'm sure everyone else did, but there's personalities in the band that they think they know best, so that's what they want to do.
Yeah,
and they don't have. Certain people just have no one around them anymore telling them no. It's all yes men.
Can I make a complete story in my head and just see if this sounds about right? It seems to me that you all four were working so well together, and there wasn't much talk about you guys writing music separately and stuff. But it seems like once Chad Taylor started saying that he wrote some of these songs solo style, that it almost put an ego on Ed to be like, oh, really? Well, now I'm going to show you that none of your songs are going to be on an album, and it's going to be all my shit, and we're doing it this way.
That's 100% what happened. I mean, but that started in the 90s and Throwing Copper, where Chad would give an interview and say, I wrote something drama, I wrote this. And that would piss off Ed. And I don't know if they had actually had conversations about it, which they should have as men, or we should have had a fucking band meeting about it, whatever. Yeah. Never did that. And then like I said, around 1999, 2000, Ned's like, I'm not writing with you anymore.
Yeah.
And never said why that I know of.
Yeah.
But you can read between the lines and go, yeah, so you can't take credit for anything, which is its own kind of egotistical bullshit, but hey,
yes.
Whatever.
Yes. I mean, you get it to some point of view, but the more mature approach is, yo, let's have a conversation about this, dude. Why are you taking credit for shit that either we wrote together or you just came up with the guitar part? And to say you just came up with the guitar part, like I said, for a song like Selling the Drama or Lightning Crashes, that guitar part is a huge part of the song. It's
Absolutely.
not just, it's not just like you're adding a solo over these chords that are put together. That's the meat. That's a big chunk of the song that's being written by, I'm guessing, Chad Taylor. I think Ed wrote Lightning Crashes, but I'm just saying, like, Selling the Drama, stuff like that. There's very iconic guitar parts that really make up that song.
Yes,
so I understand both points of view, but I think if they spoke like men and like something like this, where it's a long form conversation, they could both get their thoughts out. And Ed says, well, I don't like you taking solo credit because I also wrote these lyrics, came up with the melodies. So, like there could just be conversation rather than all this hate building up and egos getting inflated and all this shit. Like, I think from outside looking in, that your band's problems like are technically so solvable. You know what I'm saying? Nobody stabbed the other person's mother or shit like that. I know crazy shit went on, but it just seems like you could have some therapy and shit like that.
I agree totally. I mean, therapy.
Yeah.
Make a fucking and film it. Why not? Like, fucking let's do it. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I was told like Talladega Nights, like, we're gonna get back together. We're not gonna bring up the past. We're just gonna bury it deep down inside and never talk about it. That was basically the edict from Chad once to Patrick and I once Ed came back. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fucking great.
Of course he wanted that for sure. But I mean, that's not the way to, you can't just think about if you did that to a girl you dated. You guys had such a horrible ending, and then you got back together and said, you know what, we're not going to work on anything in the past. We're just going to go forward. Not happening.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't work with anybody for anything, to be sustainable, at least.
Ken, have you heard the unreleased songs that were going to be on the new album, not the EP that came out in between? Oh my God. I got privy to hear 4 of those songs. I believe one of them being 10,000 Cups studio version. And then the 5th song, I believe, was a remade I Alone, which was just phenomenal. But
10,000 Cups was pretty cool. It was not the 4 of us in a room. We kind of put it together in the studio, but it's a cool song for sure.
Dope song, man. And the other 3 that were on what was supposed to be this new record was really getting back to your Throwing Copper days. Maybe not 10,000 Cups, but Chad, were you do you know if or remember if you were involved with those other 2 or 3 songs that were going to be on? Because it almost seemed like you guys got into a room and were like, yo, let's play music together again on a couple of those. Was that the case, or was this still just being brought by, I guess, Ed?
I don't know where 10,000 comes from. It may have come from Ed. I'm not sure exactly, because it was Chad had like taken over all like the production of everything. So he was putting shit together in the studio, and then, oh, come in and play drums on this. And that's kind of what it was. So I don't know who came up with the ideas exactly, to tell you the truth.
Since Bill Hines is the big bad wolf, if people were nice to him, he could probably like stream you some of these things so you could hear them. He can't, of course, release them, but that's what he did for me. He played them for me so I could hear them live.
Wow.
And it was just, I was like, what the fuck? Why were these songs shelved? And then that EP came out, because the EP, part of my French, was way weak compared to these songs.
Bill just said that they were all Ed's ideas, which makes sense. I mean, I think he had bottled up ideas, and then we, got a hold of them and started working with them. But we never got in a room and played them. I think we recorded the guitar and vocal, and then Chad to a click track, and then we just put it together that way.
Wow.
Stuff.
I mean,
yeah, I'd love to hear them.
You definitely would, but I just don't understand. Like, if you had lightning in a bottle, right, and you could just pull it out at any time, bam, lightning, and you guys did that with mental jewelry and throwing copper. So you had the recipe for fucking lightning in a bottle, and then I don't know.
Well, we didn't make those records for radio, and that's what this fucking EP was. It was like, oh, we're making this for rock radio now. It's like, fuck that. The Foo Fighters don't fucking make a record for rock radio. They just make a fucking record and they go bust it out. Green Day, all those bands, like they fucking write songs that move them, and then they put them on a record.
100, and like you said, the songs were just so good. Like mental jewelry and throwing copper sounded like nothing you heard before. Like to me, it changed me like Nirvana changed the music. Like that's how much mental jewelry and throwing copper meant to me. Like
we wouldn't even entertain, or sometimes it was just me or one of us would, if all four of us didn't like get this fucking like hair on the back of your neck standing up feeling from a song, we wouldn't even play it. So that's why all those songs are fucking great, because all four of us were like, fuck, this is badass. Like,
yeah.
And sometimes it took us to work into that. It wasn't like you wrote the song and it's like, oh my God, you had to sometimes craft the song into being that.
Right.
All four of us had to feel it.
Yeah.
And then we got totally away from that. Yeah. It was just like, here's this idea, play this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this kind of, I don't feel this, but okay. I'll act like I do.
Yeah. Fuck, man. If there was just somebody like just saying, come on, you fucking speak up here or tell us.
We never had a proper manager. Like you two had Paul McGinnis. If we had a fucking Paul McGinnis, we'd probably be in better shape. But like, we never had a real manager that was like, no, fuck you guys. You're not doing that. Like, get in the fucking room, or here's a therapist. Let's fucking do this. Get your shit worked out, and then let's write great music. Yeah. It was just like we had, yes man fucking managers like, oh, okay, well, Ed wants this. Oh, okay.
How depressing, man.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
What could have been, and what could still be, but just what could have been if, again, I love all the albums from, Five, Birds of Prey, all that stuff. But Throwing Copper and The Distance to Here for me are just some of the best. And then there's songs that were supposed to be on The Distance to Here that just didn't make it, that were, I think, a lot of guitar parts by Chad Taylor, and then Ed just kind of shelved them to put his slower like Dance With You on. But that album, again, start to finish, is legendary. It, like the Dolphins Cry, Run to the Water. What? Those are fucking epic, dude. Like epic sound, and it wasn't. Yes, they played friendly on the radio, but they weren't what was on the radio at the time. That's what I loved about you guys, is you were original. It wasn't the normal stuff you heard on the radio. Like once you caught what was you guys playing something, you're like, yo, what the fuck is that? And then all of a sudden, yeah.
We wrote music that moved us. That was it.
That's what you needed to get back to. Ken, I'm sorry for hijacking your spot.
No, man. Thank you. Yeah, Chad, I'm just wondering, as you talk about kind of Ed taking the reins with the songwriting, it sounds like the three of you were just kind of along for the ride at that point. Was there any pushback from any of the three of you to say, no, Ed, you're not going to do this? And do you think that by allowing him to do that, that kind of enabled him to maybe do some things later on down the line? I remember, hearing stories of a front man bonus for shows and things like that towards the end of the run there in 2009. Do you think that enabled him in any way by giving him that power?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. There was a point where if I didn't like an idea, I just wouldn't play to it. And maybe I didn't handle it in the most mature way I should have, but I was just like, no, I don't fucking want to play that. And it would piss everybody off. And I'd be like, I don't care. I don't fucking feel it. Like, I don't want to play it, and that happened a few times. And there was a point though, where I just gave up doing that, because I just would piss everybody off. And I was like, and once you start making a lot of money and you're successful, it's like, do you want to like rock the boat that much and piss everybody off? But and I'm not saying I'm the end all be all, the guy that picked every song that was great to fucking play on. But there was a point where I just stopped being the no man. And because Patrick would go along with whatever, and he's just a easygoing guy.
Yeah.
And I think Chad also at some point was just like, oh, well, when Ed told Chad that he didn't want to write with him anymore, that devastated Chad. So I think it just shut him down.
Yeah.
And
then
so that
shady shit behind the scenes, sorry. Or
yeah.
Ish.
I mean, what are you talking about? What do you mean shady shit behind the scenes?
I mean, just to me, the way the breakup happened in 2009, it seemed like you and Patrick were getting a lot of ideas of the way things happened or went down from Chad Taylor that weren't necessarily the truth, or
yeah. Well, I mean, that was another mistake that I made. I let Chad Taylor do all the communication with Ed. He was basically the funnel, and that's kind of what happened when Ed came back. He was the funnel, but he puts himself in that position in order to be the funnel because he wants to control situations, and that I would never let that happen again to myself or anybody else at this point. I would never let if we come back together in any sense, I'm like, there's no fuck. We're all getting in a room. We're all discussing everything at the same time. There's not going to be Ed talking to Chad and Chad coming back to Patrick and I and saying this and who fucking knows what Ed really said or what really went down or what the negotiation was.
Right.
Because, I trusted Chad implicitly 100% back in those days. And that's, I will never let myself have the wool pulled over my eyes again like that.
As you should have been able to trust him, though. So it's not like you were fucking doing something stupid. This is your boy from childhood. You should be able to trust that person with your fucking life,
Right.
and everything that
Absolutely.
comes out of their mouth. So
I thought I could.
Yeah, I feel for you on so many levels with that because a friendship was lost. Somebody you trusted was lost. Somebody you thought had your best interest did not. Like, there's so many things that go into it. And I hope and really hope that Chad Taylor, for one, takes a good look at himself in the mirror, because it seems to me to this day he still hasn't, and he still thinks his position is right. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. To me, it doesn't seem like it is, but I would, if this was the case, and I was Rolling Stones 1995 Artist of the Year, I would take a good look at to why I'm not still in that band and producing and writing great music, and why, a couple of my best friends don't talk to me anymore. It's just my opinion. Is I would look at myself and question, are you doing things right? Did you?
Well, I don't know if he is or not. Maybe he's different now. I'm not sure. I mean, I've talked to him very, very, very little in the last couple of years. So because I've talked to him very little because I protected myself. I'm not ever, basically every time you talk to him, it would be manipulation of some kind. So
yeah.
You just never, so you can't, it's hard to trust what's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. After being burnt for so long, you kind of feel the fire, I think, or something like that.
So yeah, to answer your question, Ken, yes, it was like we kind of all kind of let go, and the three of us, when I say all of us, and kind of let Ed take the reins, and that emboldened him to to do, I don't know, maybe not the best things for the band.
Yeah, and I remember, not to switch gears completely, but I remember a quote from Chad Taylor in that Rolling Stone piece, where his explanation for taking a bigger cut during the reunion was it represented the historical truth of the band. I don't know if you remember that, but for whatever reason, that just stuck out in my mind when I read it however many months ago. And I just thought, what a crock of shit. I mean, obviously, I don't know what you know. I don't know what he knows. But again, you guys always seem like such a four-piece to me. And, without one of you, you weren't live.
Oh, we absolutely were. The historical truth of the band. The historical truth of the band was represented in the songwriting, how the songwriting was split up, for sure. But as far as like the amount of work, the amount of touring, the amount of time and effort we all put into this, that was, I mean, Jesus Christ. We all were out there on the road. We were all out there doing the fucking, all the promotion, all that stuff. So
right.
the historical
away
truth
from your
is
families, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, historical truth, that's, his interpretation of it, I guess. I mean,
so bizarre. That always stuck out to me, and I'm going, what? How do you justify saying something like that when it comes to live show revenue?
Right, exactly. And it was historical truth that was never conveyed to Patrick and I until we were sitting in a room and be like, oh yeah, Ed has 40, you have 30, and you each got 15. I'm like, what the fuck? What just happened?
Were those discussions that were had just between Chad and Ed, you think, to get those initial numbers? And then
apparently, yes.
They just thought that you two would go along with a fraction of what they were getting?
Yeah. And we did. I mean, unfortunately, in the discussion where it was already determined what the splits were going to be, Chad came to a meeting. We were realigning all the companies we own with Bill at that point, the ownership structures and those. And at the end of that, Chad comes in with the live stuff, and I'm like, "You're fucking mixing these two things together?" That pissed me off from the beginning. And then he came in with Ed's 40, I'm 30, you're 15 each. I'm like, what the fuck? And so before I left the room, I had it to 20 each of us, the three of us. But then when the paperwork came, nope, it was 15. So I got fucked right there too from the beginning of that reunion. Just like, oh, okay. So yeah, that whole thing was just tarnished to me. The whole reunion was just one of them wanted to do the therapy, no one wanted to do that, and then I get fucking shafted in the ass with 15%. Like, okay, great, thank you. Chad, lifelong friends.
Is that 15%? Which again is ridiculous. It should have been 2020, 2040. Is that 15%?
Oh, should have been 25, 25, 25.
Yeah.
Agreed. But I guess the reason why I was saying 2020, 2040 is if like Ed was like, this is what I need because I'm writing everything at this point. So going forward, this is how it works. This was my question. Was the 15, 30, 40, was that going forward, or does that even include back shit from like what you're getting paid from back catalogs and stuff like that?
Back catalog stuff didn't change.
Okay.
But
I mean,
and I don't know if Ed asked for 40 or if Chad gave him 40. I don't know because I wasn't in the conversation. This is my point. Like, there's never any more business conversations if we come back together ever again where I'm not sitting in the fucking room with everybody with a fucking lawyer at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's memorialize what we're talking about here.
Insane. Hey, puppies. Yeah, man, I completely agree with you. It's just, you don't want that in your band. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't have to, like, it should be you four able to hash it out. You shouldn't have to worry about fucking somebody stabbing you in the back and all that shit. It's just, it's a crazy, it's like I don't know.
Getting messages from Bill. I guess he knows, but he said that Chad offered the 40%. I mean, if I was Ed, I would take it if it was offered to me.
Hell yeah.
And he said, he's texting me right now. Ed was actually shocked. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he was, but why would he say no?
Right.
Yep.
And he was probably told that Patrick and I were cool with it. We had no idea what was happening.
Yeah. But Jesus, man. But God bless the guy to orchestrate and then orchestrate it kind of coming back and then to really dismantle it piece by piece to where it's like, good Lord, putting this guy back together, Yeah.
And then, give himself double what I'm making. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like what?
Not for nothing. You got the hardest job on stage behind Ed. Your full body. I mean, you're sweating. Chad Taylor could be there in a fucking winter coat and a hat on and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, give him a stomp was cool and shit like that, but you're fucking dripping sweat back there, man. You're working for that, Lou.
I was getting, good. It was always a good workout.
Yeah.
What else, Ken? What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I know we're kind of probably running short on time, but Chad, one thing you mentioned or quoted on in the Rolling Stone article, or they referenced it in the article, was you had hoped that maybe by the end of the year, it sounded like you were optimistic with maybe heading out on the road with Ed as a part of Live. Any updates on that? Is there any information you could share, or things kind of where they were then?
So, I mean, I was asked for my vote under the premise that I would be touring, and so I gave this is a vote to remove Chad, and at the time I was pissed off, and so I voted to remove Chad, and I thought that could give Ed and I clarity to move forward and go out, and it was actually myself and Bill trying to push Ed to have Patrick in the band because I thought it would be better with 3 than 2.
Yeah.
And there was a time where I was asking Patrick to vote with me in this company with Chad Taylor, because he hasn't provided financials to me this whole time for this company, and the last phone call was Ed, Patrick, and I on the phone, and and it was like, okay, Patrick, you vote with CG. We remove Chad from that company. We're all good. And and then Patrick didn't vote. So, and I was like, well, okay, well, so we can get rid of, set Patrick to the side. But I was called by Ed and told, oh yeah, shows are booked, but I don't want the drama. I'm like, the drama? What drama's going to be? It's like,
right. I think we got to change it from selling the drama to fucking stealing the drama, because that sounds like a straight up fucking heist pulled by, I mean, I hate to say it, but it seems like a heist pulled by the one and only Ed Kowalczyk in that scenario when it comes down to it, because it seems sleight of hand here. Give me your 15% so we could get out, the member that's draining us all. And then, oh, by the way, shows are booked and I'm going out on tour with other people. That to me does not seem cool. That does not seem, the right way to do things. So, maybe Chad Taylor had a reason to do some shit shady, the way he did because of that type of manipulation. Like, that seems crazy to me, to sit there, look your friend in the face, say, we want to remove the cancer. So I need your percentage to do that. And then sideline that person who helped you remove the cancer is just fucking weird to me. But who the fuck am I?
It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. Absolutely.
So, how did you and Pat, I mean, obviously Ed did an Instagram thing where he said, I own 55% of Live. Chad Taylor's no longer going to stop the music, blah, blah, blah. How did you and Patrick find out that not only were you not going out on the road, but presumably you're not involved with Live in any capacity moving forward?
Well, by the phone call, so when he put out an Instagram post, that's when I had agreed with Ed to give him my vote to get rid of Chad. So, but in the talks past that, after that Instagram post, I was like, oh yeah, let me try to work on Patrick. And Bill told Ed to have Patrick too. It's like, let's have Patrick in the band. And then the whole thing went down that I described earlier. And then shows got booked. There was, some money on the table, and all of a sudden get the call. Patrick, I guess Patrick got the same call. It's like, oh, you can't have you in the band. No drama.
Ugh. But there's a huge problem. I mean, in everybody's eyes, okay, listen to me. I mean, I guess bands have done this before, but how do you take out from a 4-piece band 3 of the pieces and still call it the same band? I just don't understand. Now, I mean, okay, the sound of that voice, you're never going to, I guess, be able to do, but you can't, to me personally, that's like fucking, you taking 3 of the members out of my family and then putting 3 new members in and then calling them my family. But no, that's not the case. It's like, these are 3 new people and my family now is a different name. It's not the Rotolo family anymore. It's fucking the whatever. To me, I just don't see it.
I agree.
Yep.
And I'm still thankful that there's live music out there being played. There's live music out there live in concert, but fuck, man. Like, I was happy going to see Ed do his solo shows and supporting that way than going to see, this live that isn't live. I'm sorry. I'm not, because I still love people in that band. Zach Lloyd being one of them. I consider him a friend.
That's great. Yes, absolutely.
And I think he's one of the best guitarists. And I think if you had Patrick, Chad Gracey, Ed Kowalczyk, and Zach Lloyd, that would be the best iteration.
That was the idea. That was exactly the idea. Yep.
My God, would that be the best iteration ever? You have everything that you learned sonically from Chad Taylor in a virtuoso like Zach Lloyd, whose mind just works, dude. And I don't know. So, Lords, gods, if you're out there listening, fucking make this shit happen, dude.
Please.
That 4-piece with Zach Lloyd, man. 4-piece and a chicken wing. But just my thoughts, dude. I mean, do people know, like, when they're going out to see live, who aren't hardcore fans, do they know, like, these aren't the 3?
I don't think they don't denote it in any advertisement. They're not like, oh,
right,
only original members of Ed. I don't think they say that. So.
Yeah. It's just a sad state of affairs. And again, I'm appreciative to still have the music, but I just wish it was all done with more respect for the band. Like I feel like the live is being disrespected in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Like live 2.0 or something, call it, if you really want to keep that live name. But I just feel like, it's not right. But
agree.
Yeah. Ken, so yeah, we do got to end this. You got anything more for Chad before we
Just
go?
one last thing I'll share with you guys. I talked to my 7-year-old son last night about coming on the show, and I asked him if I could borrow his Magic 8-Ball here. I asked him if live with the original 4 members were ever going to reunite, and it said likely.
Yeah.
So,
you never know.
Fingers crossed, man.
Those things are always right. 100%.
Could be a while, but you never know.
Well, hey, anytime is better than no time. And
you want me to tell you when I feel it's going to happen? Because it's going to. This is going to happen, and this is when I feel they will start talking. They're going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's no way they are not, and they're not going to induct this new iteration. That's not how it works.
Nope.
So there's going to be a time where you guys are asked to
I won't
play.
let that happen.
Right. It couldn't happen. As far as I know, with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they do it this way specifically, period, on the story. Like if Kiss was brought in, like they still bring back the original members and stuff. They might let the new guys play or whatever, but they're really inducting the original members. So I think that's the longest we'll have to wait. And who knows when the fuck the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going to get around to doing it, because there's so many great bands that aren't in there. Just 2 years ago, I believe Dave Matthews Band was voted in by the fans, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame went against them. So they kind of know what they're doing. But there's got to be a time where live gets inducted. I mean, your Rolling Stones 95 Artists of the Year, you've sold over 25 million records, throwing Copper's 8 to 10 times platinum, whatever the fuck. Like those stats and those legions of fans just don't fall by the wayside. And for me, there's a shining hope if and when that happens, or when that happens.
I like it.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, man.
Ken, I want to thank you for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. And Ed, Chad, excuse me, I'm gonna have to find a way to get you a video of my 3-year-old rocking out to TBD.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
You sent it to John, yeah?
He loves that song. So when we're driving in the car, that song comes on, he goes berserk. So
that's awesome.
You might appreciate it.
Take some videos.
I would love to
send
see
it to me, dude,
absolutely.
for sure.
Cool, man.
We'll play it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that
I
was
can take care, bud.
See you, Chad.
Staiduhar. Right?
Staiduhar.
There we go. See, I knew I would get it. It takes me a second, but look out, ladies and gentlemen. So everybody, you guys know we have gear up on tpublic.com. It's not just t-shirts, it's hoodies, it's cell phone cases, it's cups, travel mugs, all this stuff. There should be a drop down, but there's 4 different designs that you could put on any one of those things I'm saying. So there's 4 different The Gracious 2 designs that you could put on t-shirts, sweatshirts, all that fun stuff.
We put a link in some of the bios on like YouTube and
for sure.
Yeah.
I believe it's linked to our Instagram already. I think it's linked to our Facebook, but yeah, I'll get on there and make sure it's linked all the way around. For those who want to catch us on Instagram, it's _gracious_2. Everywhere else, I believe it's just /thegracious2, all one word. Don't spell gracious like I did one time where I put the U before the O or something, something like that. But we're making moves here, ladies and gentlemen, trying to, we're a small show. We're operating, by the seat of our pants here. But we're trying to hook you guys up with cool content, with cool stuff. And, I love all your responses. I love to comment back to you. Sometimes I don't get to everybody, but we appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate, all that good stuff. And where can they find you, Mr. Gracey?
At the Chad Gracey on Instagram is what I mainly use.
And my favorite is just hashtag Chad Gracey hates hashtags.
That's right.
You could put that into Google and see all the shit. It's a good hashtag, dude. I like it. I have fun with it.
I've never Googled it. That's funny. I'll try that sometime.
Yeah, dude. Definitely check it out. Thank you, guys. We'll be live next week. Oh, next week is Larry Hankins. So get your everybody get ready. He's
look him up. You'll recognize him immediately.
Yes. If not from anything, from a movie you probably all watching right now, Home Alone. He was one of the officers in there. I'm gonna try and stop this, and I got to stop it in a couple places. So don't say anything you don't want heard yet, Chad, until I say that.